Breaking. Trump just issued his most brutal warning yet to Britain's Prime Minister. And what happened next has sent shockwaves across 2 continents. The King of England has broken 70 years of royal silence. American tech giants are pulling billions from London, and British veterans are rising up in the streets. This isn't just politics anymore. This is a government crashing in real time. If you want to stay ahead of stories like this that reshape the world, hit that subscribe button right now, because what you're about to see will change how you think about international politics forever. Here's what sparked the biggest UK political crisis in decades. 3 days ago, Donald Trump went nuclear on British Prime Minister Keir Starmer. His message was crystal clear. Stop policing American free speech or face the economic consequences. But Trump wasn't just talking about online censorship. He exposed something that has British citizens boiling with rage. Government documents leaked this week show Starmer's administration is spending £1.2 billion on luxury hotel rooms for illegal migrants. We're talking 4-star accommodations with spa services and ocean views. Meanwhile, British war veterans who served in Afghanistan and Iraq are sleeping rough on London streets. James Patterson, a decorated Royal Marine who survived 3 combat tours, was found last week living in a cardboard box outside a McDonald's in central London. While migrants enjoy hotel buffets paid for by his tax dollars, the moral contrast is so stark, so outrageous that even Starmer's own Labour MPs are refusing to defend it. And if you think this story is shocking so far, just wait, because it gets so much worse. Trump's response was swift and devastating. In a primetime address watched by over 50 million Americans, he declared that no foreign government has the right to silence American voices, and no leader should fund luxury for illegal migrants, while war heroes freeze on sidewalks. His exact words were chilling. Britain has forgotten what it means to honor those who serve. While American companies face crushing fines for free speech, British heroes are abandoned like garbage on the streets. This ends now. Within hours, the economic hammer fell. American tech companies began emergency meetings about relocating operations out of Britain. The US-UK trade deal worth hundreds of billions was quietly shelved. British tech stocks crashed. Billions wiped from the markets in 48 hours. But then something unprecedented happened that nobody saw coming. King Charles III shattered decades of royal neutrality with a public statement that left Britain's political class absolutely stunned. At a veterans' charity gala, the king delivered what royal watchers are calling the most politically charged speech of his reign. Those who have served this nation with honor and courage, Charles declared with unmistakable emphasis, deserve our care before all others. Before all others, the room fell into complete silence. The emphasis on before all others wasn't accidental. It was a direct, devastating shot at Starmer's migrant hotel policy delivered with the full weight of royal authority. For the first time in modern history, Britain's monarch appeared to publicly side with a foreign president against his own prime minister. Palace insiders reveal that Charles has been quietly funding emergency shelters for homeless veterans out of his personal fortune. The king literally stepping in where his government failed, using his own money to house the heroes his prime minister abandoned. The optics are absolutely devastating for Starmer. A monarch personally funding veteran care while the elected prime minister turns his back. It's a moral comparison so brutal that no amount of political spin can overcome it. Social media exploded with the hashtag #VeteransFirst trending globally for 6 straight days. Over 2.3 million posts, 45 million engagements, and viral videos contrasting luxury hotel suites with homeless veterans sleeping in doorways shared across every platform. These aren't just random social media posts. They're professionally edited split-screen videos showing migrant hotel buffets alongside British heroes huddled in freezing doorways. The visual contrast is so morally devastating that even mainstream news networks are being forced to cover it. The streets tell the real story. Massive protests have erupted across London, Manchester, Birmingham, and Liverpool. These aren't fringe demonstrations. These are ordinary families, veterans groups serving soldiers, and middle-class citizens demanding answers. Their chant echoes through Parliament Square. Homes for heroes, not hotels for migrants. Police have closed Westminster Bridge as crowds swell larger each day. British veterans in wheelchairs, some missing limbs from IED explosions in Afghanistan, holding signs asking why illegal migrants get luxury treatment while they sleep on streets. The political earthquake inside Westminster is accelerating. Cabinet meetings have devolved into shouting matches, with ministers openly questioning Starmer's judgment. 3 junior ministers have privately warned the Prime Minister that his policies are becoming politically toxic. Senior Labour MPs are signing letters demanding urgent review of migrant spending, terrified of losing their seats. Over 40 backbench shares have now publicly distanced themselves from the hotel policy. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage and Reform UK are capitalizing on the chaos. Their Veterans First campaign has surged 8 points in the polls in just 1 week, with working-class voters abandoning Labour in droves. The international fallout is equally catastrophic. Australia and Canada have expressed concerns about Britain's online censorship laws. Even European Union officials are privately questioning whether Britain is drifting toward authoritarianism under Starr. From Washington to Canberra, headlines are savage. Britain betrays its heroes. Free speech under siege in London. The breaking point came during a Prime Minister's questions when Conservative MP Sarah Henderson held up a photograph of James Patterson, the homeless Royal Marine veteran. The House of Commons fell silent as Henderson demanded, "Can the Prime Minister explain why silencing American tech companies is more important than giving this British war hero a warm bed?" The photograph showed Patterson sleeping rough outside a McDonald's, his military medals visible on his jacket, a cardboard sign reading, "Veteran, please help," beside him. Starr stumbled through his response, visibly shaken and constantly referring to pre-written notes, while MPs hammered him with moral outrage. For several agonizing minutes, the Prime Minister looked like a man who had completely lost control. The economic damage is mounting daily. American investors are pulling money from British markets. Major tech companies are relocating operations to Dublin, Amsterdam, and Frankfurt to avoid Britain's restrictive digital laws. Google announced it's moving its European content moderation headquarters from London to Ireland. Microsoft is transferring key operations to Germany. Treasury officials privately admit the standoff with America could cost Britain hundreds of billions in lost trade and investment. The post-Brexit economic recovery that Starmer promised is crumbling before his eyes. But the deeper crisis is moral legitimacy. When a foreign president and your own king both publicly question your judgment, when war veterans sleep rough while illegal migrants live in luxury, you're not facing standard political opposition. You're facing a complete legitimacy crisis that no spin doctor can fix. The visual narrative dominating every screen in Britain tells an undeniable story. Government-funded spa suites versus cardboard boxes. Migrant hotel buffets versus veterans begging for food. Starr's remaining defenders talk about complexity and competing priorities. But no one cares about bureaucratic excuses when decorated soldiers who risked everything for their country are literally freezing to death on British streets. Every day brings fresh revelations, more leaked documents showing ballooning hotel costs, more heartbreaking veteran stories, more viral social media content fueling unprecedented public rage. The algorithms on every platform are amplifying this content because the engagement rates are through the roof. The emotional power is so intense that the content spreads faster than any government response can contain it. This isn't just a political scandal anymore. It's become the defining symbol of everything wrong with Starr's leadership. Detached from reality, morally tone-deaf, willing to abandon British heroes while funding luxury for those who entered illegally. Social media groups like Veterans Before Migrants have gained over 500,000 members in just 2 weeks. They're organizing boycotts, fundraising for homeless veterans, and creating viral content that reaches millions daily. Inside number 10 Downing Street, sources describe an atmosphere of complete panic and despair. Ministers who once stood loyally beside Starmer are now quietly plotting their escape routes. Labour Party officials are privately discussing whether Starmer can survive until the next election, with some suggesting he should consider stepping down for the good of the party. The question is no longer whether Starmer can survive this scandal. Political analysts agree that his leadership is effectively finished. The only question now is whether his government can last another month without completely falling apart. Britain is watching a prime minister self-destruct in real time. This crisis will be studied for decades as a textbook example of moral leadership failure. The political earthquake is just getting started, and the aftershocks will reshape British politics for years to come. At its epicenter stands a man who looks increasingly isolated, increasingly desperate, and increasingly finished. Trump's warning wasn't just about free speech or trade deals. It was about moral clarity and leadership. And in that measure, karma has failed so completely that his own king sided with a foreign president against him. That's not just political defeat. That's historical humiliation that will define his legacy forever. What do you think? Has Starmer crossed a line that British voters will never forgive? Is this the end of his political career? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if this story shocked you as much as it shocked us, share it with everyone who needs to see what's really happening in British politics right now. The mainstream media won't tell you the full truth, but we,